Well, good morning, good afternoon, everybody, wherever you are around Australia. And welcome to today's session of the Accountants Connection webinar series brought to you by Your Business First. My name is Darren Xerri and I'm the Principal Consultant and CEO of Your Business First. And welcome to today's session being Discovered a 3x8 Principle to Evolve Your Firm Currently and Post-COVID-19. As you can see, I've amended the title slightly given that Victoria now is back into lockdown. But whatever we go through with respect to our webinar today, it's still relevant to everybody in Australia and all accounting firms in Australia, whether you're in lockdown or about to come out of lockdown. First of all, thank you very much for everyone registering. We've got over 60 registrants for today's webinar, which is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time out. And thank you to those attendees who raised the discussion points in their registration. Please feel free to use the Q&A button and or the chat button, but maybe the Q&A button. So if you want to ask a question anonymously, and we'll attempt to attend to those queries at the end of the presentation. So let's get right into it. So for those who don't know about Your Business First or myself, again, my name is Darren Xerri and I'm I've been in business and practice management since 1996, purely working with accounting firms and with particular suburban accounting firms in the areas of general management and practice management. My role as a general manager and practice manager of those firms was to implement best practice, quality assurance standards in business operations, human resources management, policies and procedures manuals, providing additional service offerings which included change management, due diligence and other presentations, just to name a few. So I've also been involved with project manager smooth transition of merged and acquired accounting firms. But I decided to take the step and commence Your Business First back in 2019, where I was purely focusing working with accounting firms in the areas of consulting and management services. So in the process of writing a series of ebooks called the So You Want To series, which will be released later on in August and September. And going through today, developing the 8 steps to evolving an accounting firm. We've created a workshop, a 2-day workshop based on that. And again, hosting of the Accountants Connection webinar series. I think this is the 12th one we're doing now. So if you haven't had an opportunity to review or have a look at our previous webinars, please check out our YouTube channel, the Your Business First YouTube channel. And hopefully you get more information from the content from there. And again, as we mentioned in the invitation, there is a special announcement at the end of the webinar, which I'm proud to talk to you about today as part of the evolution, I suppose, of Your Business First for the accounting and for the accounting profession. So let's get right into it. I suppose from my takeaways I've learned from COVID-19 is being in lockdown, talking to accounting firms, and for those firms interstate who are coming out of lockdown, I think there's about 4 or 5 things that I can take away from COVID, which is consistent from a research conducted by the Accounting Today. Number 1 is moving to advisory services. Advisory really is the service that our clients value the most, and the opportunities for advisory services are huge right now. Clients always come to us with tough times and times of crisis such as COVID-19, and moving to advisory has been one of the things that even clients have been embracing. The other thing is, I believe virtual office does work. The research shows that a lot of owners I've spoken to, they find it happy that their team members who are working from home have been just as productive or even more productive in some cases. And it could be a couple of other things. For them, it's a better quality of life just working from home. They do not have to commute to and from work every day. Some, depending where they live, it could be up to 2 or 3 hours in commute time, commuting to and from work. And the other thing too is that there's that increased flexibility. Sure, we still need to get the jobs done and the projects done to maintain our workflow, but there is that flexibility as well. So adaptation to virtual office, which leads to our next point being embracing technology, is crucial for the survival and the evolution of an accounting firm. And by embracing technology, a lot of firms, it's enabled a lot of firms to speed up the process. Up until now, there were some firms who were going at a snail's pace and umming and ahhing about the changes in technology and embracing and keeping up to date. But now, since we're moving to through COVID-19 and beyond, they've started embracing it and taking advantage of technology, and probably quite frankly, but no choice as well. So, but one thing I have found out is that as well about the embracing technology in office and virtual office is that there are some accountants out there who still crave for their one-on-one experience, whether it's with their team members or with their clients as well. So there's something we still need to work through, and hopefully post COVID-19 there'll be some changes made and going back to the new normal. The other thing too is that do we need all this office space moving forward? So there's a couple of questions some accounting firms are asking out there right now. Do we need to have all this office space? Can we start working from home and embracing shared offices or meeting spaces? So there's something they're thinking about. Fourth thing is backs against the wall. And I suppose it's not a learning or a takeaway. It's always been part of the accounting profession. So right from the time I started in 1996, there have been changes to legislation, new rules and tax laws coming in. And really it was the opportunity for the accounting firm to embrace it and also adhere to the new rules coming in, new laws coming in, and something like this with COVID-19, and really adapt to that change and adapt to that new system very, very quickly. And lastly, we all know that you guys, all accountants, are truly essential. I believe right now a lot of your clients are seeing that, not only being truly essential, but also being that trusted advisor as well. And, you know, saving businesses, saving lives, saving marriages in some cases as well, and really helping, being the conduit between the Australian government and their clients to make sure that your clients are getting the right stimulus for their business and for their life, really. So going through COVID-19 and going through the 3x8 principles, one thing I've developed the 3x8 principle is because of the frustrations facing owners of accounting firms today. So back in 1996 when I started, you know, some of the frustrations I see and I've seen in the past there's probably about 6. There may be more, and there could be some here that you can combine as 2. But really, there's been some financial. So, you know, a lot of accounting firms are making the desired turnover and profits. They're not making enough turnover or profits to fund their cash flow to invest in people, in training, and maybe new technology and equipment that's required for their business. And maybe they're not even paying themselves enough or on time as well. And the other thing too is that what I've taken away is the time factor. COVID-19 hasn't really improved the time factor or increased the frustrations of the time factor for a lot of owners, but it's always been the case. So there's a lot of owners, a lot of firm owners out there still working that 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and mainly because, you know, they haven't taken a holiday for such a long time, or they haven't put in implement the right systems and manuals because they're being inundated with client and staffing issues. And the people issue as well, not just staff, but also third parties as well and stakeholders. Can't find good staff, and when we do find good staff, we can't seem really to retain them for whatever reason. And not everybody's on the same page. So whether there's employees or vendors, customers, or even some of you on the call today, on the webinar today, that you may have a business partner or another partner. It may not be aligned. You're always putting out fires and seem to be the person that you're the go-to in that bottleneck to smooth everything out and fix things. The other frustration I've seen as well is application. No matter how many books you've read, no matter how many webinars like this you've attended to today, the road shows put on by the software providers as well, or any other seminar that you've gone to, you've tried to implement the ideas, but something just doesn't seem to be right, or something that's being missed. So typically what I've seen in the past is that we put it away and we work on it. We try and work on it again when we've got some time, and like everybody out here on the webinar today, that's not always the case with a lot of firms. The second last frustration is control. Feel like that your business is stuck. The team and the company, you're going great at one particular point in time, but for some reason you're not anymore. You're not growing fast enough, or maybe now, but we're growing too fast. Being COVID, the plans are being put on hold for a while. We're not as efficient, as profitable as you like to be, and you just want more balance in your life. And that's what we mean by lacking that control. And the last thing is succession. There may not be a proper succession plan put in place, whether you've started where you started putting that succession plan from day one when you started your business, or during the course of your business life cycle. Or you might be in the stage where you do want to sell your business, but you need to clean it up so you can maximize the value and maximize the return. So as far as the COVID's concerned, and as far as these frustrations, I basically developed a 3x8 principle to evolve your firm post COVID-19. So the 3 represents the keys to success at a high level. Is being operations and financials, human resources, and marketing as well. So what do we mean by operations and financials? Well, first of all, it's basically the lifeblood of the business, the operations side, from the time a client comes in the door to the time they get paid, from the time an inquiry comes in to the time they sign up to the client. All the work that we do from an accounting point of view and from a business point of view. What are the operations? What are the systems? What are the policies and procedures that we need to put in place? What are the checklists we need to implement? And the financials, I'm not necessarily talking about the P&L and the balance sheet. I'm talking about the key financials, the key drivers that really allow you to make decisions in your business moving forward. I mean, what are they? And they could be different to a lot of firms out there. Then we've got the human resources as well. How we go about engaging our employees. Do we need to outsource? Providing career paths, etc. Having an engaged workforce that are aligned to your mission, vision, and values. And the last thing is the marketing. How we go about marketing our firm to promote it for growth or even for succession. Are we a referral-based business only? Do we rely on our website and social media? Is it a combination of the two? Are there other marketing pillars? And the great thing about this particular model is that, one, you've got to be strong and successful in all 3, and the other side to it, that if you're weak in one of them, then you can engage the right people to help you in those particular areas. But the point is, of being the business owner and a firm owner, is to be successful in those 3 areas. So how do we go about doing that? And again, from what I've seen since 1996, there is a bit of a process, and I've created the 8 steps process. So the steps to success are, to me, step 1 is identifying our current situation, where we're at right now. And we can probably combine that with step 2 with having your business foundations. What do we need to do to enable us to progress further up the ladder? So like building a building, we need to have set the proper foundations in place so we can expand and go through the stages of the steps to success. Identifying our target market. It may not necessarily be a new clients or new people coming in, but even with our current clients, how do we go about working with them? Then once we do that, we can develop some service offerings and expand our compliance and accounting services, in which I'll talk about as well. So once we do that, we start growing a bit. We need to have the proper team in place, having the right people doing the right roles, suitable to our hierarchy and suitable to what we want from those roles as well. So once we get that team in place, then they can help us develop the processes and systems. We've started with trialing and error. We're identifying the best way and the most efficient way to service our client. In some cases, the most profitable way as well. So what are the processes and systems that we need to implement? And once we start doing that, then we can progress up to step 7, which is smoothing our operations. Can we take some time off and have the business less reliant on you as the owner of the firm? And then there's your succession. What's the next stage of your business life? Is it to sell? Is it to buy another firm? Is it doing something else with having the firm as a passive income as well? So we've got some ideas around that. So we start with the end in mind, and this is a long-term view. So it's not a quick fix, but it's a fix that we provide a step-by-step process. We've embraced the technology. Everything that we can do, we can use it, technology and teleconferences as well. So nothing will stop us from going through the steps. But you still may need to make some tough decisions moving forward. And the ideas and tips that we'll provide to you today will be at a high level. And you may have already implemented some or hopefully all of them as well. So that's fantastic. But there might be some other topics and other things you may need to consider that we haven't spoken about today as part of the 8 steps. So let's get started. So step 1 is your current situation. What are you trying to build here? You want to grow your business? Are you building your business to sell? Are you creating a legacy for your family, or having a business that's just less reliant on you? You might want to take 1 or 2 days off a week. You want to be the essential partner for your clients. You're still happy to come in 5 days a week, but you still want to have that client contact. And you want to create a business that is a one-stop shop for your clients as well. So I've got some questions coming through. Great. So another thing we look at as far as your current situation is your measurement. And what I mean by that is your financials. Are we head on budget? Are there things that we need to look at from a cost point of view, revenue point of view? What KPIs do we need, or what KPIs are we using or we can improve on? There can be both qualitative and quantitative KPIs. What are those profit drivers, those key numbers we need to make decisions moving forward? And who are our profitable clients and why are they profitable to us? Then we look at our current team, we create that organizational chart, and we have that chart, and we're designing with those positions and what's incorporated in those positions, and we place our team members accordingly. And if they don't precisely fit that organizational chart, there might be some training involved, and etc. So we identify their strengths and weaknesses. At this particular point in time, I would start with capacity planning, and also particularly outsourcing as well, from a delegation point of view. I mean, it could be not only necessarily in accounting, but it could also be in administration, in your marketing, as we discussed before, your IT, cybersecurity, etc., and even people in HR. And creating a default diary. What does your default diary ideally look like? And are we up to date with our insurances, with our virus protection, our cybersecurity? Have we got the latest software from our current software provider? Are we up to date with our ATO obligations, not only from a firm level, but also from a client level as well? And what do we need to do to get up to date to take us to the next stage of the foundations? And lastly, what are the things? Do we have the right business structure in place, particularly for those people on the webinar today? We've got business partners. Do we have the right shareholders agreements, unit holders agreements in place? And then are they up to date? So once we've identified the current situation, then we'll start working on our business foundations. And to me, the business foundations falls into about 6 or 7 key areas. One is cash flow, having the access to cash, looking at discounting and the impact of prices when we discount and also when we raise in prices. So we've got some modeling around that. Reviewing each job, see if we can do it more efficiently. Are we doing it right, but we're not charging enough? Are we charging the right amount, but we're not as efficient as we'd like to be? Review our costs on the P&L. Who's responsible for each line on the P&L item as well? Then we look at our time as well. What needs to be done to free up your time? What can you delegate to your team? What are those productive and unproductive tasks that you're doing that you can delegate? And how many hours do we allocate to, are we allocating enough hours to our business? If we want to work 40 hours in our business or work there every day, that's fantastic. But also, where I'm coming from as well, how much are we spending more time with our family towards your health? And more importantly, in some cases, is that are we spending more time doing the things that you like to do from personal hobbies and interests as well? Then we get the right database and the right IT from your with your firm. And what I mean by the IT is it does disaster recovery, making sure that we're up to date. Does our current IT deliver the services that we want to deliver? Is there anything we can identify that could be far more efficient in what we do, and obviously cheaper as well? And our database structure. Do we have the right people in place to service our clients, your senior accountants that can manage the workflow without you being involved at the top level? Do we have the right information of our clients in our database? And do we have all the information of our clients and the required information so we can make decisions as well? Then we look at our reporting. What are the key numbers that we need to make better decisions? As we mentioned before, it's not necessarily the P&L and the balance sheet. But what I like to say is that, as I mentioned, that it'd be great if we have one person who's responsible for each line item or for a line item in the balance sheet, so they're responsible for that. So your monthly KPIs, both from a firm level, at a team level, and individual level, what are they? And I hope it's not just necessarily being productive or write-offs. I have to be more than that, and we will talk about that later. Your capacity planning, benchmarking, how many clients that you have are on fixed fees, how many clients who currently we're working with are utilising all our services, and what services are they utilising if they're not? And how do we go about measuring our leads, all the work that's coming in from an inquiries point of view, from referrals, where have they come from? Was it referrals? Was it from website, etc.? Third-party alliances from your team members, and how many of those have we converted to clients? So then lastly is number 6 is delivery and distribution. So that's basically how we go about having the right engagement letters in place, and preferably all engagement letters for at least all of our business clients and our client groups. Our onboarding of clients, inquiries, from inquiry to sign up, what is the process? Setting up clients in our database, getting all the information straight away. Workflow, do we flow charted, who's responsible for each step? Our service offerings, getting our basic scripts right, getting those foundations right, so we can evolve our practice. And then the last thing we talk about is the meetings, having the right meetings. There's probably 3. There's one being a workflow meeting, catching up with your team every week with the workflow for about 10 or 15 minutes. Then you've got staff meetings as well, talking about the high level stuff that's relating to the business. And lastly, there's the partner meetings. And the great thing about it, if you're a sole practitioner on the call today, it may be that you meet with yourself. And if you don't have team members as well, there might be some other contractors or some other people that you use to help you with the running of your business, some third parties that you can catch up with them as well to see how you can improve things. So once we set up these foundations, etc., then we can start evolving our practice. And the first thing we'll look at is our target market. So I think we've got to be careful here. Whilst I believe accountants should be specialists in certain areas, I also believe that a generalist accountant works very, very well. But just as long as if you're a generalist accountant, that you have access to the tools and resources and people that you can tap into to help your client straight away. What's the value of your existing client? We'll start with our existing clients. Again, what do you need? What do they need that you cannot provide? Some of us are not qualified financial planners. They may need some financial planning. We need to surround ourselves with those people who can help us. I'm a perfect example as well. When a client engages me to help them with their practice management services, after we create the strategy plan and the business plan, there might be a project or a task we need to do that relates to marketing. So I get my marketing person to help me implement that strategy for them. So, and it works very, very well because ultimately we are servicing the client. What else do you want to do for your client as well? And do you like working with those clients in those industries? So have to think about that. Why do those clients come to see you? Why should a client come to you and no other firm? Is it something as simple as location? Is it your service offering that you provide those for that particular market or for that particular industry? Is it your knowledge and experience? It maybe is a turnaround time of the work. Maybe you under promise and over deliver. Don't necessarily agree with that in some cases, but is it no surprise at the billing stage? So what is your point of difference, and why should a new client come to you? And I'll be interested to see what you believe in the chat and in Q&A as well. So right from the outset, what is the onboarding process from inquiry to sign up? What are those wow factors that you're implementing as well as part of your business? You're providing testimonials. Are there welcome packs? Is there a structured process? Is there one person responsible for onboarding your client, onboarding new clients? For example, we had a particular client I was working with. They use a particular type of cloud software, and one of the rules that they have is that if you want to come on board as a client of theirs, you've got to be using that particular type of software, that cloud software. Now, this business was in a position to say yes or no to clients coming on board because of their marketing. But sometimes we don't want to bend our rules to everybody. We want to have some set of rules and guidelines as part of the type of client we want to work with. And again, knowing your numbers, knowing the leads coming in, and how we're tracking those leads, and how many of those we're converting to clients, and more importantly, what will be the value of those clients every year, maybe even the lifetime value. And that's all part of your marketing plan. So once we establish that, we need to create a marketing plan. Is it going to be a referral-based firm, a website, social media presence, a combination of both? What other types of marketing are you going to do? More networking, forming strategic alliances. Which clients do you want to work with? And are you attractive? Not so much in the physical sense, but the type of clothes that you wear, your branding, even some to your business card. When you go down and visit the client at their premises, is your car clean, etc. When for those who have got office premises, is it clean? Is it up to date? Is it modern? So this is all part of your branding and your marketing, and the way we go about attracting our target market and then clients as well. So once we identify the type of clients we want to work with, then we go and create that service offering. And in a recent survey by the Commonwealth Bank, the top 4 services in accountings want to implement over the next 6 to 12 months are business advisory services, business recovery and solvency, tax consulting, and wealth management and financial planning. So immediately from that, if I'm an accounting firm that doesn't have wealth and management qualifications because of phase year, etc., then having the right alliances formed so I can properly service my client. And I'm not advocating to creating additional services for the sake of it. Some of us are not in a position to do so. Some of us don't want to do so, but some of us are really, really good for our compliance and offering, which is fine, which is great. You know your clients better than anybody else, but you do have an obligation to ask them what areas of their business they need assistance in, or more importantly, after you review their work and provide their financials and tax returns, point out some of the issues and concerns. So if you want to, for the sake of additional advisory or additional value-added services, maybe we can expand our compliance offering. And what I mean by that is having an annual general meeting with your clients, tax planning and client functions. So how do we go about doing that? So I thought maybe what we can do is that, your top 30, maybe top 50 clients, it could be turnover level or could be at fee level. Meet with them preferably face-to-face, something like this, teleconference, but not necessarily over the phone. And having that annual general meeting, meaning that once we've done the accounting and compliance side, we sit down with them and to go through it, and we can gauge exactly how the business is, and maybe there's some other services we can provide them or we can refer them to. And likewise with the tax planning as well. So for those top 30, 50, it may even be maybe top 100 clients, have you got capacity to do so? Having some tax planning and see, again, having those conversations with the client. How is business going? What's changed during COVID? What's changed since the last time we spoke? What do you want your business to look like in 2 years' time and 5 years' time? What are you going to do to achieve your business? What do you hope you achieve from your business? If you had to start again, what would you do differently? Some clients would say, if it was for COVID, I wouldn't be in business. But having those conversations and helping them through, like what we've been doing with those advisory and helping them through COVID, having more of those conversations, not necessarily during the pressing times, but all the time. If you want to create those additional services, whether you're expanding your compliance offering or having additional services, what are your features and benefits? So the features are, for those who don't know, features are aspects of your product or service that could be from a technical or descriptive perspective. And the benefits are why those the features matters for your customer, for your clients. In other words, how the features makes their life better. So what will be the features and benefits for your additional services? If you're going down the additional services path, we've basically created a half-day workshop to do that and for documentation. But we've created a 7-step process. So the 7 steps are: what services would I be enthusiastic about offering my clients? The service is scalable with an annuity income. We provide exercises through that. Why would my clients want this service? Again, the features and the benefits. And this will equate to either your why or even maybe sometimes your client's why. Number 4, what will help you deliver these services? The technology required, the office environment, the team members that you need to help you deliver those services and their qualifications. Number 5, what is the price I'll be charging and when will it be charged and how? And what payment systems do we have in place to make it easy for them? What is the ideal client profile for this particular additional service I want to implement? What does the ideal client look like? And number 7, again, what is my marketing plan? How am I going to promote these services? So some of the things that come out of that is 1, go about pricing. Are you going to package up your services or are you going to have a menu of services you want to evolve your firm? The value-added opportunities can be looked at when you're looking at the financials and you're looking at the preparing the tax returns and the end of year accounts. But whatever you do, you've got to have a proof of concept. And what I mean by that, as far as a proof of concept is concerned, is that we've created the structure, we've created the service. Now we've got to test the market. So we talked about 5, maybe 10 of our clients, and talked to them to see if they're interested in this service. What excites them about it, what doesn't excite them about it, is it charged right, etc. So we can gauge if we need to make some tweaks or changes to the offering. And then once we get it right, then we can put it out to the market. So that's the service offering, and that's what we want to create and how we go about creating the services. So once we create the services, we basically need a team to help us deliver that service. So what does your team look like? So I think there's about 5 or 6 areas that we need to look at. Having the right team in place is paramount. Do your team members not only got the skill set to provide the service, but do they have the right attitude? And do they match your mission, vision, and values? And do they follow your mission, vision, and values? What career path can you offer your employees? Can you offer them a career path? Some of them are striving to be partner. Some of them are striving to be just probably a senior accountant, senior manager, and nothing more. Can we create that career path for them? And what do they need to do to go to those next levels? I mean, even reviewing rewards and incentive systems, developing some bonus structures. And maybe it's not just that dollar amount in the at the end of the year. Maybe it's a bit more than that. Maybe that not only don't meet their KPIs, but they've surpassed their KPIs. And sometimes the bonus structure may not be a the dollar basis, and maybe they want more. Maybe they just want a career path as an incentive, or they just want more mentoring. How do we go about managing performance and using the proper metrics, etc.? And as I mentioned before, I don't want it to be just a timesheet or write-offs. Some things we can consider, which I've implemented with some of my clients, is a jobs completed matrix, the accuracy and the timeliness of the jobs, passing on efficiency information on software, and how to make it not only the new features of the software, but how we can utilize the software to make your firm more efficient. Again, value-added opportunities. How many value-added opportunities have they provided to you as part of their KPIs from the work that they're doing with their clients? For those senior accountants in there who are responsible for managing clients, maybe the number of client visits or the client phone calls, depending on the role. Maybe the top 30 to top 50 clients, you want to contact them once a month, maybe once a quarter, just to see how they're going, as part, again, another touch point. And then how are we going to report back to our team members with respect to that? And by here, we would made a decision about outsourcing and offshoring. Are we going to go down that path from your research as well? And again, having those structured meetings, having those meetings with a purpose, and setting out an agenda and sticking to the timeframes. Again, having those monthly staff meetings, talking about what's working and not working, amongst others. Findings from the review stage. Having those workflow meetings on a weekly basis. What jobs are coming up? What jobs are we going to finish this week? Are we on track? Are we off budget, etc.? And then we've got partners meetings as well, do all that high level stuff from all the information that we've gathered from the day-to-day work, and also from the staff and job flow meetings, etc. So that's how we go about creating the team and improving our team. And once we do that, then we can utilize our team to help us with our processes and systems. We've trialed and errored on certain aspects of our business. And now we can document it and put a process and system in place for best practice. So we look at our standard letters, get the top 15, 20, maybe top 30 standard letters all documented and used, and not only from a letter point of view, but also from an email point of view, having those standard templates. Maybe we'll look at some providers who can help us implement those tools and templates. We want to promote that consistency. So whatever client we're working on, and whoever's working on the client, we know what the process is, and we know exactly how to service that client, and we know what the documentation we need to provide. So getting our engagement letters right, our client onboarding process spot on, our client setup process, so that we have all the information of the client sooner than later. And with that client onboarding process, what do we need to achieve in the next 30 or 60 days to also increase that wow factor as well? The letter and email templates, again, as we've spoken about, and again, our mission, visions, and cultural statement. So all these things that we're looking at, it's part of the systems and the processes that we need to move forward. And that's basically the how. Now our clients are used to being serviced by our accountants, and with constant touch points, giving a constant deliverable, consistent service all the time. This is where our smooth operations come in, and this is where where we hope that we can that the business can run not necessarily without you, but with little of your involvement. Your team members value and they live by your mission, vision, and values. You offer and providing training as well, and not necessarily for accounting and tax. It could be for management, could be for leadership, could be for sales, could be for marketing, could be, and grooming them for the next stage of their working life. You know, cross-training staff. So if one staff member is away, then another staff member can step in or assist in that particular area. Grooming all your team members and your 2 ICs so they can progress to the next level, and surrounding yourself by your dream team. So your dream team is not only your team members that you have under working with you, but also your joint venture partnerships as well, your referral partners, your financial planners, your bankers, your accountants or lawyers, other accountants, possibly lawyers. You might have other accountants who are really specialists in certain areas, and they've got the knowledge that can help you with the services as well. And the last thing is your succession. So we've built it up so that the business can be operating efficiently and can be operating effectively as well and profitably. So we look at your succession. What's next? And that's basically up to you. So here's some ideas there. But by the time you reach the succession phase, you maximize the value of your firm. So you maximize, and the way when we've looked at and looked at our cultural fit. We've got an ultimate and great database of clients that we're working with, utilizing all our services. We've got a great brand out there with our clients in our suburb and our surrounding suburbs. Got the right team structure in place with the right career path, and providing with qualitative and quantitative KPIs. Our financials are good. We're running the latest information technology and cloud software, and we've got the right transition plans in place, being that the type of people we want to work with and type of firms we want to work with as well. And we've got those joint venture relationships as well. So that's a 3x8 principle. So there was a lot of content there. I hope you got a lot out of it. We'll go to questions now. What I'll do is that I'll have a look at some of the questions that come up in the Q&A. Will the slides be sent to us? No, the slides will not be sent, but there is a recording of the webinar being made, and this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And I'll send out more information about that. Great. Yep, as far as the presentation email. Yep, so if we need to, we've got a particular attendee on the phone today. If they need some cybersecurity awareness training, please send me your information, and I'll pass it on to that particular person. So thank you very much for that. I know that attendee, and he is absolutely great at what he does. What else is there? Okay, so. Fantastic. Well, if there's no other questions, what we'll do, we'll go to next steps, etc. So, and if there's any more questions that happen, that come in, we will we'll attend to those queries. So next steps, what is it from here? So again, you'll get a copy of the recording today via our YouTube channel, and feel free to take the Your Business First 10 by 10 questionnaire. It's basically 10 areas of your business. It's 10 questions each. So there's about 100 questions, and it's basically a scaling, so 1 to 5. And with, from the clients who've used it, it doesn't take more than 8 to 10 minutes. Once I get the results, I'll email you a copy of the report, and we can have a discussion, have a 30-minute phone call, Zoom discussion. We not only go through the results, but there's some burning issues that you have with your business. So thank you again. So I'd like to talk to you today about some exciting news that hopefully will involve you as well. What I'd like to do, I'll stop sharing the screen, and I'll get Jeff Richmond up on the screen as well. Just bear with me. Okay. Okay, Jeff, are you available? So Jeff will be sharing his video now, and I'll get you to unmute you, Jeff. Unmute yourself. Maybe. How's that? Great.
How's that going?
How's that, Jeff? Okay. If everybody can hear us, just send a quick chat or quick saying yes or no. That'll be absolutely great. So the exciting news is that what I'd like to do is I'll talk to Jeff about the exciting news that that we're providing to accountants and accounting firms. It's in relation to a new service offering that we're providing, and particularly Jeff is launching in Australia. So before we get started, Jeff, can you just give us a bit of background about yourself and your business?
Thanks, Darren, and well done on that. There was some good takeaways there. I'm sure that people are going to be keen to get your YouTube and go back over that. So,
thank you.
I have been a principal in over 3 different practices over 40 years, hanging up my shingle initially when I was 23 years old.
Yeah.
And from that time, I always had a philosophy to try and make an impact on our clients' lives. So we developed accounting practices with that as our mantra, if you like, not just counting the beans, but to really make an impact on our clients' lives.
Yeah. So as far as you're concerned, and in relation to the webinar today, and from your experience, what do you see as the key to success in the accounting firm?
I guess there's a number of things that could make an accounting firm successful, but what I've always been interested in is having providing proactive advice and direction to our clients. adding value to their lives. We built a practice around that. And what we also built was a team. We developed and nurtured the team skills in that area. And I think in today's environment, accounting firms have seen more and more development of accounting software programs like Xero that's taken a lot of the bean counting away. And I just see right at the moment the opportunity to develop value-add services has never been more at the forefront than it is right now. It's there and available because basically a lot of the time you spent doing the number crunching has disappeared. So you should have available services to provide.
Yeah, I think so. You're a big advocate to value-added services, and part of the reason why, what we've gone through today is that part of the service offering, you had to create those service offerings, and going through that 7 steps, because I just felt that a lot of firms, although they want to, they just don't know exactly how to go about doing it. So it's new territory for them, and sometimes they're a bit nervous about implementing because of their level of expertise. What have you found?
Yeah, I've seen that as well. I've also consulted to accounting firms, a bit like you, Darren, and I even, when I was working with a mid-tier firm in Adelaide, even the partners really didn't know where to start with stepping outside of their comfort zone. And there's a fear of failure to hold yourself out to be a consultant who provides value-add services if you're really not sure what that means or how you're going to go about it. But to be honest, that fear is totally unnecessary. When it all comes down to it, we've all got opinions. We all have an opinion on business and what clients are doing and that sort of thing. And it doesn't have to be that the accountant has all the answers either. I can tell you over the years, I learned so much from a number of my clients. And in fact, I've sold that knowledge back to other clients time and again. And that's how it works, is that you're learning on the job yourself as well as consulting. And it's more about uncovering ideas that the clients can work with you on.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, some of the most loyal clients, the clients that would refer other clients to me have been the ones that I've actually learned from them. And I think it comes back to that old addict of a good conversationalist being someone who is a good listener, and people enjoy working with people that are open and listen and have empathy for where they're going, and they build relationships with them.
Yeah, agreed. So as far as you're concerned, I think we're probably on the same lines, is that, is the secret to building relationships with clients, is it to develop those value-added services?
Yeah, building relationships is the real factor, I think. Once you, it's a sort of a cycle that goes on, that once you build the relationship, the client will ask you for more assistance, and then that will flow into another job, and there'll be more things flow from that. I must admit, I probably gave my best advice and attracted some of my best clients over a session with clients at a pub for lunch. Just building that low-key approach to things. And when you start to, ask them what's keeping them awake at night and listen, you've created the first step. And once they put that on the table, then you're able to work with them and help them explore solutions.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. So what other ways can accountants develop their value-added services with their clients, from your experience?
Well, one of the keys that I have used in the past and have not seen it as used as much as it should be, in my opinion, is that accountants should be able to identify the profit drivers in a business, whether that's profit earned per hour, per square metre, per employee, per hours that you've been open for trade. it really just is developing, as you mentioned earlier, the KPIs and things like that for clients so that they understand what's going on in their business. And I have not seen a client where their gross profit reflects the type of expectations that those clients have in terms of their productivity and efficiency. And so one of the keys that we used to use all the time when we sent out financial statements was that we would actually provide some sort of commentary about the financial performance of the client at the end of, or for that period. And we'd sort of put just a small paragraph, something along the lines of that, we've had a look at your numbers, and from what we can see, you're operating at about 75% efficiency. And if you were able to improve that to, say, 85%, then that could possibly add $150,000 to your bottom line for the year. Basically, if you'd like to discuss with us how you might be able to achieve that extra efficiency, then we'd love to assist.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a lot of firms out there who, from my experience as well, they just don't do that. Provided that value-added service as well, and putting those recommendations and thoughts on the letter as well. So they don't do, or they don't have time to do. So yeah, so I know we're struggling for time at the moment, but there's another process that you can help accountants grow their value-added services, and we talk about today about the special announcement about the Alpha Group. So can you just tell our attendees today a bit more about the Alpha Group?
Yeah, so I've got a huge responsibility here.
I know you do.
I believe that the Alpha Group is going to be a world changer. And if it doesn't become part of the fabric of SMEs in Australia, then basically I'm going to be to blame, because I've got the responsibility to launch the Alpha Group in Australia. I've got to have broad shoulders here. Yeah. I was approached by an expat Aussie. Her name's Krista Fox, and she's currently living in Dubai. And she opened me up to the Alpha Group, and I had a look, and I liked what I saw, and I took the punt and flew overseas and attended a training session in Turkey last October. I must admit, I flew out with a fairly high level of skepticism. I've seen these, get rich quick schemes before, but I thought that, and this isn't a get rich quick scheme at all, but I thought that I'd spent similar sort of dollars on attending 5-day conferences before. So I went with the idea that provided it gives me something to bring back to my own consulting business, then it'd be a worthwhile trip.
Yeah.
On reflection, my 29-hour flight there and 25-hour flight home was worth every minute. And it really is a process that does bring enormous value to SMEs that get involved.
Yeah.
We haven't got time to go into the full detail today, but we're going to run a webinar in a couple of weeks' time, same time as this, where we will go into a little bit more detail. But just an overview of what it's all about is that the Alpha Group is a program where we run peer-to-peer executive boards, where we get up to 20 SMEs. I'm targeting actually 15. It's an exclusive board, so there is a maximum, and no two competing businesses can be part of the one board. Yeah. And those board members come together once a month to help drive their own business and the business of the other attendees in the room. And it's a very simple process, and it's it's almost too simple to believe, but it works. And the Alpha Group's promise to members is to double the value of their business within 2 to 3 years, and they haven't failed yet. I guess that's another big responsibility on my shoulders in rolling this out in Australia.
Yeah, and I suppose the attraction to me as well is that after catching up with you and attending a couple of those alpha group sessions that you run with your clients, it is totally mind blowing, and it's a great, efficient, I suppose, and easy way to get in for small business owners, or any business owners for that matter, to get in and work and mastermind their issues. So that was the attraction that I took out of the Alpha Group, and the reason why I'm basically part of the group as well, working under Jeff's wing. So just an extension of that, from an accounting firm, what sort of businesses should join the Alpha Group in your eyes, Jeff, for your experience?
There's two main ingredients. One is that the owner has to be able to devote 6 hours a month. The meetings go for up to 6 hours,
Yeah.
and you have to have a business that can have the guy in charge or the girl in charge the ability to take 6 hours out of their month every month, and it's a commitment. And also that they really want to drive their business to the next level. If they don't have that attitude, then they'll be asked to leave, because it really is a commitment from everybody in the room.
Yes. So this program is basically for SMEs. So what's in it for the accountants online today, Jeff?
Well, Darren, you and I were previously involved in a program in our former lives with a coaching group called 10X. I'm sorry to open up old wounds, but the model had some problems in it, but there was no disputing the benefit that accountants that got involved achieved in terms of once their clients become focused on business improvement ideas, then they sought extra help from their accountants. And I know for a fact that there was a lot of accountants that took on the 10X business coaching franchise that they didn't really do that well out of their franchise or the business coaching, but just by putting this out there, their clients started to turn to them for more advice. And that's the beauty of the Alpha Group. It's not so much a consulting or a coaching program. It's more about helping businesses unearth issues that they've got to go away and work on. Yeah. And they leave the monthly meeting saying, well, I've got some actions to implement here. And, the right person to help with that is going to be quite often their accountant. And so that's where I see the benefit that could unfold for accountants on the line today to get their clients involved.
Yeah. So how would the accountants get involved? Just quickly, because we're running out of time.
Sure. Right. I know that you're going to become a regional director like me, Darren. What we would be recommending is that the accountants would host a Alpha Group board, and you would turn up to their offices in Victoria to run the monthly board meeting, and they would introduce, I would suggest, 6 to 8 of their clients to become members. And then what tends to happen is those 6 to 8 will, as it will invite other colleagues of theirs to turn up, and so the accounting firms would then be getting exposure to more new clients themselves, and it gives them a means of creating more value-add services for their clients.
Right. Yeah. So the upshot of the accounting firm, I suppose, is potentially they can earn more fees from new assignments, and also potentially new clients as well, because we have formed that group. The current clients that are in that group can refer like-minded business owners, albeit non-competing, into the Alpha Group, and potentially have with the accountant in the room, they can engage more about the business as well.
Yeah. Not only that though, we would recommend that one of the partners or seniors in the accounting firm would become an active member in the group. Yeah. And they'll undoubtedly get some benefits out of it for their accounting firm. So they will grow their own business while helping their their clients improve. And you know, I'd sort of go out on a limb here, Darren, and recommend that if I was in my own accounting practice at the moment, I'd be sort of rolling up Alpha Group membership into my fee package for our clients, and even, you know, potentially offer the first couple of months membership as free, so that their clients get to understand what it's all about, and we could work with the accounting firm to provide a discount as well on what the fees might be.
Great, yeah. So we've got the webinar on the 22nd of July. So what will the accountants learn from that webinar in 2 weeks' time?
Okay, so the webinar that we're going to run isn't aimed at accounting firms. It's actually aimed at the SMEs that we're looking to recruit as members of the Alpha Group.
Yeah.
So the accountants will then be able to see what it is we're marketing, and you know, there's a fair chance that we, in our marketing processes, will be talking to some of their clients about this. So they'll get to understand what we're offering and how it works. Basically, you know, we've got I think nearly 50 people online were registered today.
Yeah, 60.
We, if everybody wanted to get on board and co-host an Alpha Group, then I think we'd probably take 4 years to set that all up, because we could only roll out one a month if we're lucky, I think. So we're encouraging the accountants to get on board and register for the webinar, which Darren's going to put a link up on that registration.
Yeah. And
for the first 5 registrants, I'm going to provide a copy of my book, The Wow Factor: How Successful Leaders Manage People and Add Value. And that's basically a reflection on my years of practice and the problems and challenges that I met over that period, and how with my team we're able to find some solutions. So
awesome.
First 5 that register will be getting one of my books.
Great. So that's fantastic. Okay, so no, look, I know we're just over time now. So what I'll do is that I'll get back. We'll finish off our webinar today. So really, as far as Jeff's concerned, what Jeff reiterated, so please save the date for the 22nd of July at 12 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time, and for the first 5 firms to register, not attend, but at least register our upcoming Alpha Group webinar, and you will receive Jeff's books free. I've read it; it's fantastic. It's great. So it's great value. We'll provide the link in the as part of the link to the webinar today. So expect that within the next 24 hours. So thank you very much for your time today. Have you got any queries or any issues or anything in the interim? There are details there below. If you've got any issues specifically for the Alpha Group or any questions, please feel free to email Jeff at geoff@straighttalk.com.au. And if you've got any more questions in relation to what we discussed today in today's webinar, please feel free to email me at darren@yourbusinessfirst.com.au. Thank you very much for your attendance today, everybody. Sorry we've gone slightly over time. Very much appreciated. Thank you very much, Jeff, for your time today. And I look forward to seeing everybody here attend the webinar on the 22nd of July. Take care, everybody.